Why, hello, friends, and welcome back to Read Aloud with me, Miss Cope. I hope you are well on this Tuesday morning. It's going to be another gorgeous day. I could just tell on my run this morning. Again, I think yesterday it was like 50 degrees out. It was so beautiful. Spring has finally sprung, maybe. On my run, I saw a few geese. I live right by the Winooski River, and as I was running by the river, I saw beautiful geese swimming in the river and having fun on their own. This tells me that geese are finally migrating back to their breeding sites, and it usually happens around this time of year. So that is so exciting to see that this morning. All right, we are reading With the Might of Angels by Andrea Davis Pinkney. I do have permission from Scholastic to read this to you today. I want to do a quick recap of where we left off. Last time we left off, Dawnie, Goober, and her friend Yolanda had a pretty horrible experience on Halloween night with the Hatch brothers, who chased them all the way until they got to the black neighborhood, which they were warned not to go near. We also learned that Dawnie has met a teacher that she really likes and who seems to respect her and all the other kiddos. So let's see what's going to happen next. All right, Monday, November 1st, 1954 diary book. I'm still shook up from what happened last night. I'm scared to tell Mama and Daddy about it, and scared not to tell Mama and Daddy. If I tell them, they'll ask what we were doing so close to Ivoryton, and I'll get the skin tanned off my behind. If I don't tell them and they find out, I'll get the skin tanned off all of me. This is why it's good to write things down. You can see what's in front of you and decide which way to go. I will not be telling Mama and Daddy about Halloween or what happened last summer with the Hatch brothers at the drinking fountain. I'll need to hide this diary good. From now on, it'll be tucked to the back of my closet shelf behind my dictionary. Because if Daddy or Mama reads this, I am a skin possum. Tuesday, November 2nd, 1954, diary book. Last summer, when Yolanda and I first set eyes on Prettyman's baseball field, I was convinced that field was heaven's front yard. I suppose heaven is a big place, because today I stepped foot into heaven's parlor, the Prettyman's science lab. The first thing I learned from Mrs. Elmer, our science teacher, is that the word lab is short for laboratory. It sounds so official, like where you can really learn important stuff. The Prettyman's Science Laboratory has bottles and goggles and tubes and clips and countertops and microscopes. And there are 4 sinks for washing things and for making sure our hands are clean. Sinks in a classroom and microscopes. This is why I will put up with kids staring at me like I'm some purple-headed carnival creature and clucking after me like they're the stupidest chickens in Lee County. I bet every cent of my Christmas money that anyone who is a real doctor started out by learning science in a laboratory. Today our teacher assigned lab partners. My partner is a girl named Teresa Ludlow. When Miss Elmer put Teresa's name next to mine on the blackboard, Teresa was not happy. To squirm her way out of being partners with me, she told a tall tale, taller than Paul Bunyan. Something about having a stomach ache and needing to go to the school nurse's office. Mrs. Elmer dismissed Teresa, but I later saw Teresa in the cafeteria eating a hot dog covered with enough sauerkraut to stuff a bed pillow. When I get to doctor school, I hope they teach me how to cure stomach aches with sauerkraut. I really don't care who my partner is in Prettyman's Science Laboratory, and I don't give a toe bone about Teresa Ludlow not wanting to work with me. What I care about most is learning how those bottles and goggles and tubes and clips can teach me. Next to the names of science lab partners, Mrs. Elmer wrote a list of study topics we'll be learning this term. Cells, germs, organs, and just before Thanksgiving we'll be dissecting frogs. But first, there is lots of reading to do to prepare for what Mrs. Elmer wrote on the blackboard before the class bell rang. Friday, November 19, midterm test. Wednesday, November 3rd, 1954, diary book. When I got to Mr. Dunphy's history class, the desks were pushed back against the wall. Democracy was written on the blackboard. Don't sit, Mr. Dunphy instructed. I want everyone to come to the center of the room and to stand in a circle. Mr. Dunphy looked pleased by whatever it was we were about to do. I was curious, but fretting too. All I could think of was, I hope he's not going to make us square dance. Well, Mr. Dunphy didn't start calling out steps for the Virginia reel. What he made us do was worse. He explained that we were forming a democracy circle. Let's make this circle strong by holding hands, he said. Kids all joined up, clasping fingers and palms, but the democracy circle ended with me. I was wedged between two students whose names I didn't know, a red-headed girl on my right, a buck-toothed boy on my left. Not one of them would hold my hand. With the way Mama insisted on me being cleaner than clean, I knew there was no dirt on my palms, but I checked to make sure. There was not even a smudge from my pencil lead. It didn't surprise me or make me mad that nobody wanted to hold hands with me. Truth was, I really didn't want to hold hands with them or anybody in this class. Just by looking, I could tell. That boy's ma did not make him wash his hands. Neither did that mother of the red-headed girl. Mr. Dunphy was eager to see the circle come together. I waited on what to do next. Mr. Dunphy came into the circle between us and Buck-Toothed Boy. He took my hand in his. This still left an open space in our democracy circle. I tried to make the circle work by reaching for the hand of the red-headed girl. She flat out refused to join hands with me. I wiped my palm on the pleat of my skirt to get off any clamminess. Even I wouldn't have wanted to join up with a fish hand, but the girl wasn't having it. She balled up her fingers and held her fist tight at her side. Mr. Dunphy's, he's clever. He put a classroom chair between me and the girl and told us to each hold on to the back of the chair. The girl looked relieved. Mr. Dunphy said, by forming this circle, we represent the people of America, joined together under our nation's guiding political principle, democracy. This circle represents what democracy stands for, that we are all equal. None of us is higher or lower than the other. Democracy is the standard that makes America's government unique. The chair I have set between Dawnie and Jennifer represents the seat of government, the place where government exercises its authority. It's where key political decisions are made. America's seat of government is Washington, D.C., and our nation's capital. I was glad to have my hand on the seat of government, but there was no kind of democracy at Prettyman that I could see. When Mr. Dunphy gave my hand a gentle squeeze, I felt something I had never once felt from a teacher. I felt sad for Mr. Dunphy. He really believed what he was trying to teach us about democracy. But when you go into a store and can't try on clothes, when water fountains won't let you drink from them, and when you're the only Negro student in a school where every day you eat lunch alone, democracy is as far off as the moon. Tonight, I looked up democracy in my dictionary. Here's what I found. Democracy, a fair and equitable government by the people. Dear Mr. Webster, I have a question about your definition of democracy. Which people do you mean? Thursday, November 4th, 1954, diary book. Heaven's Parlor has lost its shine. Today in the science laboratory, we got to use our microscopes to look at cells. To see the cells, we have to put blue liquid onto a glass slide. Then place the slide under the microscope's viewer. Teresa and I had to share a microscope. Even though I was super eager to see the cells, I let Teresa go first. I don't think she would even cared about looking at the cells. She put her eye to the viewer, blinked, and said, "Your turn." I pressed my eye to the microscope's viewer. Those cells were beautiful clumps of jewels, swirling together in a pocket of blue liquid that brought them into view. I watched the cells dance and play together, but the party ended when I felt something warm and wet, then burning, pouring onto my lamp. It was the blue liquid we'd used to put on our microscope slide, all over the front of my skirt, snatching at my thighs, making them itch, heating my skin. I sucked in a hard breath, cut my eyes at Teresa. I raised my hand. Mrs. Elmer must have seen my wincing. She came right over. She looked at me sharply and then at Teresa. "It was an accident," Teresa said. "Accident, my eye. Tripping on a tree root coming up through the dirt is an accident. Going to the wrong address because you wrote the number 3 instead of the number 2, that's an accident. Teresa Ludlow pouring blue cell juice onto the front of my skirt is no accident. It's what Daddy calls intentional. Teresa meant to do it." Mrs. Elmer bought a cold compress. She gave it to me to wipe the burning blue from my thighs. "Don't worry, it's not dangerous," she said. The cold cloth soothed my legs right away, but I was still burning. I spent the rest of today going from class to class with blue splotched down my front, putting up with kids' snickers. When I came home from school, Mama gasped. I told her all about the accident. Mama tried every way possible to get that stain out of my skirt, but even she couldn't get rid of the blue. "Wool holds on," she explained. With disappointment and disgust both tugging at Mama's expression, she told me to throw the skirt away. Even if I could get it clean, I do not want that memory in my house. "Dear Teresa Ludlow, you meant to spill the science lab liquid on me. You intended to do it. I know that. That blue juice made me red-hot orange mad. Teresa, more than anything, I want to pour a jug of that blue stuff all over your head. I want to watch you twist in your seat, cause your skin itches and your clothes are messed up. I want your mother to have to throw away one of the few skirts you own. I want this badly. But Teresa, I will not pour anything on you. I will not, because I have a better plan. My plan is called Dawnie Ray Johnson's intention. Pay attention, Teresa, because this is no accident. I intend to do well in science. I intend to be a good student at Prettyman so that I can become a doctor. I will not let you stop me from reaching my dream. I intend this. This letter should really be a thank you note to you, Teresa Ludlow. Thanks to you, Dawnie Ray Johnson's intention is stronger than ever." Friday, November 5th, 1954, diary book. I thought I would die from chalk dust today. I have made a decision, another intention. I will do whatever studying it takes to earn my way to that bell ringer job later. More flypaper from head to toe, getting the chalk off my clothes, hair blowing in the wind of our house fan. How does Mama think of these things? Saturday, November 6, 1954, diary book. It's warm for November. I have just come in from being outside at the tree mop where I beat that stringy thing silly with my baseball bat. 10:30, that's the time. Lights out is long gone. Everyone's asleep. The moon is a softball, pitched high up into the curtain of the black sky that hangs over our house. If my bat could reach, I'd swing and knock that ball free until it felt and trembled to the place in our yard where the tree mop swings from its raggedy rope. For now, I'll tell that softball moon, spread its white light right here into my bedroom, giving me the light I need to fill your pages with my determination. Wow, I'm really impressed with Dawnie. You would think that if someone did something that mean to you, like intentionally spilled liquid, blue liquid that burned your legs, don't you think you would want revenge and do something even more mean and more intentional to them. But no, Dawnie, instead of fighting back with revenge or something mean and negative, instead, she's going to study harder, work harder in science, and try to be the best student she can. I admire Dawnie for that. All right, thank you for tuning in with me, my friends. I will see you tomorrow. Again, make sure you get out and enjoy the beautiful day. I will try to as well. Thank you for listening. Toodles.